Hello, cosmos, self, ohana, internets, infinite beings. Soul Dr. Nick here. It is March 30th, 2025. Just almost 6:55 a.m. First light into sunrise right now. Seeing the redness on the clouds in the sky. This is magic mirror work. I'm going to be looking up at the sky, especially in this beginning part, because I really just want to see this beautiful light. And lots of stuff today, lots of stuff. Today is the day of attunement, an event being hosted with my dear friends Mike and Judy, and as well Robin and Adam, that I'm grateful to be invited into to hold 30 minutes of breath there. And it's a tight container, and working with those constraints, I can just see so much moving still, and how to not push, how to not force, but to create space for that, to create space in the silence, to create space in the guidance and the lack of guidance, and the words and the lack of words. Oh, the sky is beautiful right now, just looking at the pastel colors. So just saying that. And then noticing myself, I've been ruminating over something over the past day, and just noticing the rumination, noticing the discomfort in my body, notice the discordance, notice the reactions, notice the deflections, and then notice the guilts and the shames, and just noticing how I hold on to moments and create stories and let go of stories and everything else in between. And I'm just saying that out loud, kind of more esoterically, not esoterically, more abstractly, because that's what's important to me right now. I don't plan to use names here because it's not about anyone else, it's about me. And it's for me to untangle my own web a little bit. I get caught in my own web. That's probably the essence of it. And it doesn't mean that there isn't some sensation, some truth to what I can see in others, but frankly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I'm surrounded by people I love and who love me, and I can sometimes forget that there isn't a right answer, or that I'm not right, they're wrong, they're not right, I'm wrong, and that it isn't enemy, it isn't approval, it isn't blessing that I need to get from anyone else. It's just being able to make choices and to follow through, honor, integrity, reminding myself, like yesterday I was working with a breath session with a dear soul and inviting him to bring himself to bliss, like bliss. I'm like, oh. And then also in the midst of that, not trying to say, you got to stop what you're doing, like stop the doing, stop. No, honor that ego, honor that mind, honor the doing. Like when you're doing, say, thank you, I've got this capacity to do this. And if you're going to do it, then just do it. It's just like me, I'm like, there's so many times where I'm like, oh man, I'm just being. I'm like, honor the being in me. Wanting to push through. Right now, wanting to push through this discomfort. Oh, I know how to do this better. I know how to lead better. It's like, this is where I'm at right now. Not good, not bad. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I like that from Dr. Demartini. Instead of forgiveness, it's thank you for giving me this opportunity. So yes, and there's that, and in the midst of my own transition to my own integrity, also sending messages saying, I'm sorry, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm sorry, thank you for giving this opportunity. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm a genius and I apply my wisdom. I feel to heal. Everything is a story. I always have a choice. The only constant is change. Today is going to be a wunderbar day. And it really has been a wunderbar last couple of days. And it's a reminder to me a little possible chemtrail off there in the distance. A little thing that happened this week, and that's what's happening this week, is I'm noticing the times when the word I'm going to use, because it's in my head right now, I've screwed up. And been able to share that, especially with my beloved, has helped us see each other more, has softened things a little bit more, I think I'm starting to show that I'm working through things, and there are parts of myself that normally I would rather feel like hiding. And she's seeing my interactions with others. And then there's a piece of more softness, sweetness with her, more compassion, more wanting to be with her. And then there's the piece of myself, and I'm getting this now, actually asking for the coaching. I got a coaching session from my dear friend Ellie this week, and I'm going to commit to 5 more of those. And from there, it's seeing the mirror work is important, the compassion is important, the confidence is important, creating my own confidence in myself, and noticing how the words that come up as I can be rocked or shaken off it. I react and take myself off of my center, because no one else is trying to take me off my center. Especially yesterday, everyone I interacted with are people who love me to a great extent. And it doesn't matter that they love me. I can still hear it differently. It doesn't mean that there isn't something there, but I know the love is there. I know they're humans. I know they've got other things going on. And so how am I taking things personally, misunderstanding things, deliberately misunderstanding things, misinterpreting things, trying to get out of feeling a certain way, looking a certain way, sowing discord by doing that. And then recognizing when I'm stepping into someone else's container, I was able to do that with one person, be like, I'm stepping in your container, I'm here to augment you. Now I recognize I'm also stepping to another person's container, and I didn't augment her in the way that I would have wanted to. And that's what I can be sorry for. And so just noticing that piece, it's like, what is it that I authentically want to clean up? What am I clear on? I'm clear on when I host breath. I want things to be, notice, I am looking from the angle of safety and preparedness and extra hands. I think that's been a theme for me in my life. Running lean when we don't have to run lean. Running leaner than we have to when we don't have to. My concern is that things that could have been held aren't held. And then I can see the flip side. I was reminded of someone who's telling me about they went to a course from someone I really respect, but some of the helpers may not have been up to the level of care standards that others were. They're newer to it. And so they didn't feel they got the support that they really wanted. And so that's my reminder, is use fewer words. And even for myself, it's using fewer words. And I'm grateful that I have the trust to play with my words right now, because I'm hearing that from the podcast listen today. It's like, how do I use fewer words and convey more? It's a practice too. So it's not about trying to just step into it either. Thank you for this discomfort. I can feel the tightness around my throat. Just got out of doing 2 rounds of enema, and there's 1 more to go at least. Because we ate so much great dim sum Chinese food, but man, that stuff wreaks havoc on the body. Doesn't wreak havoc on the body. I anticipated that my body would be like, you could have done better. And I'm grateful I brought a liter of juice out with me, and I drank a lot of it. That really helped to kind of balance things. The other thing, what's the other thing? There is another thing. Oh, and then we went out for some more Vietnamese food in the evening, because my beloved wants some more. And we've had a couple of really great days. She reminded me just of play. I got to play in the playground with my son yesterday. We were spitting at light speed and meeting other friends. Someone's name is Everest, which is a really cool name as well. And walking around and finding a portal of trees at Confederation Park. Like, really fun, neat, easy, flowing. And the day before, she really enjoyed it as well. What was the day before? What was the day before? The day before that was the massage. That was so powerful, the body work. Friday. It's so funny that I completely have blanked. I'm just trying to think now. It was the day before going out. We did something. Oh yes, we went out to Chilliwack. And got them some plants. And I'm noticing I don't want to take care of the plant babies. And how do I better convey that? How do I support without feeling like I take on, because my beloved and my son both want to get more plants. And I recognize already, like, taking care of a cat, that's something, all right, definitely do. Like, this is not like I was a part of that decision. The plants, I am a part of that decision, and there's a part of me that almost resents taking care of more beings. And I wonder if that's part of watching my dad growing up taking care of the plants, and is he caring for the plants more than me? Is that it? Like, that's a story. It's not the truth, that's for sure. But when he takes on a job, he's very meticulous about it. And I think sometimes I have that tendency, probably, and so I want to take on fewer projects. Because what are the projects that I really want to prioritize? I think that was a good way, that was a useful way to put it, so that my beloved could see me before. It's like, all right, if you really want me to take on that project, I can. It takes bandwidth. Is that the bandwidth we want me to take on? If it is, take it on. If it isn't, let it go. And as well, that's still just a story, because can I learn a little bit more about plants, about watering? And is that curious? Can I take on a little course? And getting some of the basics, or asking some of the basics. What are some of the basics I can use to look at, evaluate, assess plants and their watering, and how best to care for them, both for the water, the sunlight, the fertilizer, and especially the indoor plants, because there's a number of them that are indoor, and then the outdoor plants. So putting that out there for our dear friends at some point in time. Okay, so much. And then right now, contemplating what are we gonna do for a car. I'm just going randomly to different places, because my magic mirror work. This is for me, by me, through me. I remind myself of that, seeing the unevenness in my eyes, and that's okay. Practicing, I can actually practice strengthening that eye. And evening it out, okay. Yeah, looking at the cars, and we're debating getting a minivan and getting a new one, or is now the time to get that right-hand drive Delica that my beloved wants, which would be a lot less expensive and a different way to start. And then is that just introducing, because she keeps trying to say, I'm not sure I want that. I'm like, can I actually respect and listen to that too? Because maybe that's for a future when we're like, oh, this is like just a trial car for a bit. You can play with it, Nick. And that might be it too. Like, I'm trying to push something that we don't need to push. Like, we go through enough challenges as it is. We've created enough projects as it is. And am I trying to create this project? Notice that's me too, right? Is that the project I want to take on? Learning how to drive right hand. I don't think it's that much extra, and I think that's part of it. Like, it's something, if I'm driving anyway. But there is some truth there. Like, what if she needs to drive and she doesn't feel comfortable and she feels stressed? Do I want her to have that extra layer of stress all the time? No. So, okay. And then just reminding myself, learning how to juggle all that stuff. I'm reminding myself to move my hips slowly. That's something that my coach Elias reminded me of, and dancing a little bit more. Like, just reminding myself to move, because in the movement, I'm finding myself again. In the movement, I'm finding myself again. Okay. And then reminding myself, I'm surrounded by so many people who love doing ecstatic dance, and that probably is something for me at some point in time as well. But what is, and where, and how, and it's beautiful here right now at sunrise. Like, the colors are amazing. Seeing the mist, the contrasts are amazing. And making this a point to come up for sunrise every day, I can see how this is a practice, right? And that's something to talk about too. Like, I've been doing sunrise every day for about 5 days, and it's making a difference. Like, I can imagine that I'm getting different kinds of energy in my body. And it doesn't mean I can't be fatigued. I am doing so many things. I am growing. All of these are points of growing. I was making juice yesterday with my son and reminded as I'm watching him juice the celery is that he and I are doing things differently for good reason. His purpose is let's have fun. My purpose is let's figure out how to make the juice more efficiently and make sure I'm making us good stuff and not super contaminated stuff. And at first it can seem at odds with each other until I take a step back and say, okay, how do I let him have more fun and experiment and play, as long as he's safe, and encourage that, and be very clear about certain boundaries, like you don't stick your hand in there even though I do it. And then as well, one of the boundaries I didn't keep as well is how do I keep the firmness of the time? Okay, let's not let him do it so long that he's bored of this now and be like, I don't want to do this again. All right, it's not that you can't play, you play away, but we'll have a defined time next time. You've got about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Make it exciting, make it a treat. And every time you get to see how things go differently. And then the other thing that was really neat though is that we ran the motor probably for at least an hour, if not longer, continuously, and it was still going. And having said that though, it wasn't really chopping that much, so there wasn't as much resistance. That's a reminder. Like if it was actually continuously going and there's produce being put through it, would that be different? But it seems pretty freaking robust, which is good. Yeah, and then creating that much juice. Like part of it for me is doing time-lapse video sometime in the near future, just to show how much is being created. How much is being created. Magic mirror work. Coming back to it because I forget, and sometimes I'm trying to get into performance. I'm trying to think of what am I going to tell you next to make me look good. And I'm saying the second part, the making me look good, because there's a part of that. Because when I'm thinking about you, whoever's watching, there's a part that wants me to look good because I'm looking for your approval, your blessing. I don't want to be judged harshly. I don't want criticism. And I'm saying it this way, not from an enlightened path, because this is part of noticing what's actually there still and not trying to filter or modulate. And then being able to notice what spells do I want to cast, because I recognize that the words are spells, incantations, affirmations. I do what I love and I love what I do. I do what I love and I love what I do. I've been backing at my computer and trying to find my Aperture file, and that's based on the old Apple app Aperture, because I think there are a number of pictures in there that I want to have in my iPhotos that have been lost in space and time a little bit. And I don't know if I found it again yet. And that is a little bit scary to me, because where has that data gone then? And that data is important because there are a number of pictures. And I don't remember when it stopped. It was a few generations ago for the computers. So finding that again is going to be important. Rediscovering that. Okay. Sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner. Sometimes I feel like my only friend is the city I live in, the city of angels. Lonely as I am, together we cry. So just contemplating all the cities I've lived in. Right now in Port Moody, there's a part that does enjoy looking out there at the nature. There's a part that definitely doesn't enjoy the politics of the condo complex. There's a part that doesn't enjoy the almost lack of community, in the sense that it feels like there's just a few people that we kind of know that are decent. And it's not that there aren't more people that we could connect with, but it doesn't feel like community. It doesn't feel like, whenever you see a group of people and kids, rarely do we truly interact with each other. And part of the beauty of these spinning things is that there's a little bit more interaction. And at playgrounds, I mean. And then, what do I actually want though? Because I do like my anonymity. I do like being able to walk around and not be known. And a part of it right now in my life, I'm recognizing I'm stepping into places where I have some discomfort, because like, what else is possible? Even right now, what I've been ruminating on, and I come back to and I leave, and I come back to and I leave, is like, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I've been ruminating on many things in my life, and then I get stuck. That's the word. I get stuck. And then at some point in time, I forget about the ruminating, and I feel like everything's good. And then it comes up and I'm like, I'm stuck again. Like over and over again, it feels like I can run until I hit quicksand, and then I have to stop. And right now, I'm practicing hitting the quicksand, stopping, and continue to go at the same time, and continue to be dad, father, husband, brother, leader, facilitator, guide, and have that stuckness at the same time. And what's there? And I'm grateful I'm not leading this. And I'm owning my part. And that's what I want. I want owners of each part. And I'm not fully owning my part. There's so many parts I'm dropping. I'm just dropping so many balls. Fuck. Thank you, all you birds. Thank you, you crows, for flying by. We saw hummingbirds probably mating yesterday. That was pretty cool. I got reminded yesterday playing hide and go seek with my 4-year-old. Like, he wants to be near us more than anything else right now. So that's the part that I still trust when I turn my head and I actually look away and start counting, because I'm reminded it's okay to not look for a little bit. And it's not easy though, it's a practice. And setting the container probably would help, right? Where is the parameters for where hiding goes here right now, if I'm gonna do that? And then really enjoying when he's out and out, we could say lying to us, like, oh, did you drink this? No. And then recognizing, okay, what other contexts there other than lying? Exploring boundaries, changing context, changing timelines, subjective reality. Like, it's so easy to think as an adult, I have objective reality. But what if even small things changes? Like, what if instead of you saying you're hunting and killing an animal, you're just finding the animal that's ready to say, I sacrificed my life for you. And that's the idea of ancestral hunting. Like, there's a moment sometimes just before you shoot and kill that you see that deer turn to you and look, almost like knowing, like, yeah, this is my moment. And what if there is a component of that, at least, to life, to this life that I'm living? All right, it's 23 minutes in, 24 minutes in. Definitely it's colder. You can see my breath, so it's definitely not warm out here. But I'm impressed that I haven't started the fire yet, in a way, too. There's a part of me that's like, I don't want to use up all the gas. Like, then you got to refill the gas, all this stuff. So it's noticing I'm not using it, and then reminding myself fire is transmutative. So am I willing to use a little transmutation? Allow for a little transmutation here. Okay. Allow, invite in, be guided by a little bit of transmutation. Oh. It's funny when I look away sometimes that the camera's like, where did he go? I can't find him. And I'm turning the fire down because A, just invites me to get close to it. B, use a little less gas. And C, it's a little less noisy, a little hissing sound. Not that I can imagine you can hear that hissing sound. And again, why the fuck does it matter whether you can or not? Magic mirror work. Doing this for me, by me, as me, through me, and happening to record it at the same time. Wisdom is the instantaneous recognition that crisis is a blessing. So it still takes me a little bit to get to wisdom. I'm not jumping forward to try to ask for forgiveness. I'm noticing that there's extra challenges I feel. And I'm practicing owning my part of the challenge. Got a lot of this celery juice here. So giving some of it away, not a bad idea. It is probably around 7:15 now. And so the sun's been out for about 20 minutes. We're still at the longer wavelengths, the yellowish light. I think fire light is actually really good too. I think staring into the fire is quite powerful. Fire gazing actually is probably one of my favorite things, a real fireplace. So real wood and real gas, and if there's a combination of the two, open to that as well, right? Like almost turning on the flamethrower to start lighting the fire. Be hilarious in a way. That is kind of hilarious. Wood stoves. Ed Sheeran, A-Team, perfect. Life is so frickin' perfect, and then hearing him and his belief and his visions, like why not, why not, why not? And recognizing the power of that dream. And then as well, as powerful as every dream is creating the resiliency. And that's what she highlighted, is like, I'm not sure he's ready for this because everything's just happened so fast. And recognizing right now every step where things aren't happening fast, I can look at it as how can I embrace this moment and the resiliency that it's creating. And resiliency doesn't have to be created slowly either. And there's a piece that it's that edge of challenge and support, right? Even for a young child, if I had them learning how to walk at what I considered a fast or slow pace, it would interfere with their natural ability. And it's the same thing right now where I am especially relearning how to listen to my young man's requests or even his absence of requests. One of the things is that he's not acknowledging his grandparents the way the grandparents want to be acknowledged. And when do we start pushing this more? And then I recognized the other day I kind of tried to do that with the asking for stuff from our friend Zach. And then how do I practice letting that go too? It's not for me. Is it something that matters to me? Not really. Do I want him never to ask? No. But if he doesn't ask for the next 5 years, does that really impact? No. If anything, there's a level of assuredness that he's not going to get things from strangers in that way. But, and creating the space for it. And the moment it changes, it'll be taken for granted. So one of the practices is sitting with, being with the things that have already happened, having gratitude for it. And one of the things that I haven't sat with Morgan is being in the space of gratitude for Sage's skin already being healed. Oh my God. Thank you, Cosmos. Thank you, Universe. Thank you, Sage. Thank you for all the teachings, all the lessons for the skin being healed. And skin seems to be something that's coming up. The barriers, the boundaries. Even for myself, like right now, I recognize I still have this almost, and I'm going to use the word addiction to money. There's a part that's been playing with, dancing with, and there's this currency of trust, and I can't remember who I was talking to about this, but the currency of trust when it feels like it gets broken a little bit. Yeah, even with friends that cancel, but I know that I'm playing a part in their canceling as well, because do I really want to have that interaction right now? Taking responsibility, but also recognizing in future, am I really as excited to meet with them? And that's part of it right now, even in my rumination, like, oh, I'm making challenges for people to be with or want to work with me. And unless I'm so perfectly easy to work with, I'm scared that they're not going to want to work with me, they're going to change their mind. I'm scared that I'm not holding up my end of the bargain. I'm scared that I'm not enough. And what about that then? What if I'm saying gratitude that day where I'm like, oh shit, I am enough. Like I am enough. Like really, I am enough. I am the light of your world. I am beautiful, I am bountiful, I am bliss. I am the light of, I am beautiful. So I'm noticing all these parts. I'm noticing my self-judgment for my singing and worried, today am I going to start thinking about it? I am so many things right now. I'm confused. There's different emotions. They're bubbling up. Then remember, take a breath, take a pause. Take a breath and take a pause in this being work. Take a breath and take a pause in this being work. Magic mirror work. I am so grateful. I am so grateful. I am a fuck up. I'm saying that because there's someone that came to me for help, offered her breath. I think we did some great work together, and then in the follow-up, something got missed. There was a part that I didn't hear her. There's a part that I didn't hear because I'm confused right now what happened. And it went from, oh man, I can't wait for what's next, to her sending me money, to now no reply, to just let it go, Nick. Just let it go. To what could I have done differently, to self-judgment, to blame, to shame, to guilt, to trying to hold on to things. And then I got reminded the other day, there's 8 billion people out there doing things their own way, and they don't need me to take care of them. They don't need me to manage them. They don't need me to handhold them. The only being that really, and he doesn't even depend on me because he's smarter, is my son. My beloved would like me to be around as well. My cat definitely would be right now, but he's like, if someone else feeds me, he's going to be great. My son as well, like I remind myself often, like, you know, I'm grateful I get to be who I am for him, and I'm prioritizing him, but again, he'll be great. My beloved is probably the one that would, between her and my son, would miss me the most. And everyone else, it would have impact. I've got a lot of people I think it would impact, that they would want to be there, they would pay their respects, they would be honoring of our interactions, because I've had a lot of really meaningful interactions in my life. I'm really grateful for that. I've said before, like, I'm the keeper of secrets. I've got a lot of secrets inside of me. And letting it go. I don't know. I don't know. 369, damn, you're fine. And what is the legacy I want to leave? What is my legacy? What is that 1,000-year legacy? Is it just the journey of remembering who we are, remembering play? It sounds simple. Is it just the body of being, the body of work? Do I want to be like a Wayne Dyer or a Ram Dass? And we remember them now. Will we remember them in 100 years, 1,000 years? And does it matter that we remember them as individuals or the impact that ripples out from them? And that's part of the story, like Jesus, whoever he was as an individual, we remember the essence of. And his 2,000-year legacy, if it is 2,000 years, is there's been so much change, so many stories. And some people may remember the truth. Really, who remembers the truth? And balance of good, negative, how many wars have been fought over, how many holy wars, right? How many people have died? It's like the breath sessions right now. People are still benefiting from them. And I don't know if it will impact random strangers the same way it's impacting the individuals that it has impacted. So is it truly applicable? And I bought something like the Bitcoin breath. And when do I want to pour gasoline, accelerant onto what we're doing? And where am I not clear? Okay, yeah, like let's weave in a theme and as well weave in intentions. And I really appreciate that. Why don't we type in our intentions? How can we make things more clear? How can I keep making things more clear? So grateful for those that are sending the money. So grateful. When am I going to revamp the website and make it simpler? So it's not as much hands-on, individualized, personalized work that needs to be done. It's automated, automagic. So you just attended your first breath. So you've just attended your 1,000th breath. Thank you for being here. I really do hope you come again. And know 100% if money is ever a barrier, it's not. Just reach out. We'll make sure you can get access. And we appreciate the support. I've got some pretty big dreams. I've got some pretty big dreams of a 1,000-year legacy. But before we get to that, as you fall up from the breath, please take a great bath. Nourish yourself, listen to yourself, write stuff down. Notice how it unfolds over the next few days, because it's not just about the experience you had there, it's what happens over the next few days. And that's it for me, even right now as I'm saying this. What is my unfolding in the next few days? I had a beautiful breath session for someone yesterday, and in every session that I'm giving, I'm also receiving. Can I hear my own vibration? Bliss. And how have I stepped out of bliss? Oh my God, so far out of bliss from just a small little phone call and interaction. I'm bringing myself back into bliss. I'm being so grateful that I have these times to explore this in way more depth. Almost 40 minutes now, and I keep coming back to the rumination for myself. And then part of me is like, you don't know what it is I'm really talking about. It doesn't matter. No, the details matter and they don't matter. What matters is that in some ways, I can notice myself. It's like I was saying, oh, I don't know who's leading all this stuff then. I was noticing, I was like, okay, who is saying that right now to me? That's kind of the protector, the deflector. What do I really want to say is, okay, why the fuck do we have so many layers of control? How can I actually just own my part? And then recognizing, remembering How have I done that before when I'm leading the overall thing and trying to manage all the parts? And not good or bad. Keeping a tight ship can get a bad rap sometimes, and it is really honoring everyone's time, energy, and effort. All right, let's finish up the different kinds of invoicing. So many things. If you're happy and you know, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know, clap your hands. I'm warming up a little bit. I'm going to get back outside in the sunshine in a second. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get really warm. Lean over. Let the heat wash over me. Be like, oh yeah, fire, 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 fire. Let it keep burning. Because I still want to have the transmutation effect of the fire. I was going to put it out because like, all right, let's save gas. And then I forgot, oh yeah, I may be saving gas. And I actually want that too. And right now I can see the glow of the sun around the buildings. I can see the mist really coming up. It's going to burn off soon. I can see the bluish skies. I can move. I can remind myself, and coming back to that question, what will life be like, you know, when I have that new minivan, because it represents that I've built the business and the structure so that it is a business expense, because it really is, and that we have the capital we want to deploy into it, and we paid off all of our debts, and feeling really good in my body, and my family's feeling really good in their bodies, and the work is flowing, and the gratitude for all this. And every morning I wake up, I'm like, holy fuck, yes. And that with the positive cash flow and everything else, and the health, and who knows, maybe we're pregnant again with another child, and we're excited about it, and we've got so much friends, so many friends, so much support, and community is thriving, and I'm sought after in the ways that I want to be, and then in the back of my head I'm thinking, and I'm going to end up in places like this again where I'm like, oh, ruminating, oh, why? And at any moment in the next probably 50 years, let's put it that way, my parents are going to die. And being with that, and being with the first deaths of cousins and people that are close to my age going through their things, especially with all the different health conditions right now. And having moved to somewhere where it's warmer, or having multiple locations, and having real estate, and being clear on the downloads, the transmissions, the messages. Like this morning, I thought I heard someone say daddy to me, and I woke up and I was like, who said that out loud? And then I realized it was just a voice that wasn't there. It wasn't my beloved. And being with that, because it's a little scary to hear voices in that way. And thank you for hearing voices in that way. I'm inviting some of that in. And then who am I when I'm hearing things like that? And yeah, speed of light versus speed of sound. Speed of light, seeing, versus speed of sound, slowly. And hearing voices is actually a slower modality. It is that clairsentience, just that knowing, that is a much faster modality. And it feels less certain, because we think that seeing is believing, hearing is believing. And all the modalities coming together, seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, feeling, all that stuff, that's what we just call reality. I can feel it with all of my senses. Versus I can only hear it, see it inside my mind's eye. taste it inside my mind's eye. That's that lucid dreaming. Just practicing shaking my knees, shaking my legs, letting things come out of this body, letting the muscles work. So I took a second there just to be with me, as me, by me, through me. Yeah, at some point I'll be putting this on a bigger screen and looking at myself on the bigger screen, and I could possibly do that with even the TV in the rainbow room right now. But I don't need to do that soon. There's a lot of blue light there, right? So the best thing is being out here in the sun and probably putting a mirror out here as well. And then imagining there's gonna be a lot of condensation and other things as well. And just trusting it as well. Okay. 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 So much maintenance that needs to happen these days. They're coming up to maintain the airs. They are fixing the gates. All the garbage that needs to be thrown out. Thank you. Thank you to our landlords. They're great landlords. They're great. They're really trying to take care of us. We're really trying to take care of them. And there's miscommunications. It's so funny. And even my most intimate relationships, there's so many miscommunications right now, it feels like. Missed communications. Misty. It's misty out here. And my own missed communications inside my body. Clarity, authenticity, brevity. Taking ownership. Extreme ownership. That part I can own. I am taking ownership of this. I am going through this. I am reflecting on this. I am permutating this. And I am transmuting this. There's a part of me that wants to go on a medicine journey to see what is there here, and then remind myself, I am the medicine. I am the medicine. This is medicine. This is medicine just being here, right now. This is medicine. Being with life, noticing the desire to escape life sometimes. And I've had that, like this past week, I had a moment where I was like, why do I even exist? Why should I exist? Maybe it's better if I don't exist. And I'm grateful for having gone through some of those moments, because it's really telling what's going on for me. Like, I'd like to pretend that's not happening, and it is. Okay, so now that it is happening, what do I want to do with it, right? Oh, man. Hips don't lie, back doesn't lie. Lower 3 energy chakras. Yeah, some tightness. Reminding myself, 3 days ago, I felt like I was recreating the entire cosmos, going backwards and forwards through time, reminding myself I'm perfectly here, reminding myself that everyone that I can imagine is exactly where they're supposed to be, and then letting it all go again, remembering to snap back into this is just reality as it is, turning 180 degrees, noticing all the energy coming in from above, and then trusting that I'm on the spaceship of life. And then come to a place where I'm like, oh, I've got free time, I'm with my family, and I'm stuck in my head a little bit, and my family is thankfully loving me still, playing with me still, being with me still. It's so interesting. And it's not interesting. This is fucking boring. Let's be honest about that too. It's fucking boring to go over the same thing over and over and over again. All right, that's the other truth of it. What are the better questions? The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions that you ask. If my mother was a mother, I hope she would be. I would not be the man I'm proud to be today. And my beloved was pointing to the paradox of that, the dichotomy of that. It's like, how do we be the best parents we can be? And are we supposed to be a little bit of asshole parents as well? And how I see it now is, I want to be the best version of parent that I can imagine being. Because even though I'm trying to be the best version I can imagine being, I'm totally going to fail at ways that I can't even imagine. And I like that statement. Like, it's not that I don't want my children to have problems. I want them to have better problems than I had. And being the best version of the parent doesn't mean taking care of all of their problems or making life really easy all the time. It's creating space and opportunity for them to find challenges that they're choosing, to have the independence so that I'm not helping them all the time, and finding space for exploration. Right now, what makes life so amazing is that we have space for curiosity, for exploration, that we support each other in that as well, whenever possible, to the extent that we can feel safe. And right now, part of it is even playing with money, right? Like, we're trusting that it's flowing the way it needs to. We're trusting the business growing the way that it needs to. And I'm grateful that I have the resources for that to happen. And then there's a part of me that doubts, totally doubts. Oh my God, there's so much doubt in here. Wow. Didn't expect that to come in or out. And it's there. We're almost at an hour now, so it's almost been an hour out here in the first light. What else do I want to explore? The Fibonacci spiral, Egypt. It's funny how things kept jumping through one podcast after another. I started trying to jump into the Jack Kruse podcast. I think there's something even before that I was trying to jump into that I wasn't quite getting into. And then it jumped over to Tim Ferriss plus someone in Japan. And it jumped over to Chris Williamson and someone who looks like he deals with trauma and emotions, and reminded me of just holding space and being there and speaking less. And then coming up here. And yeah, just noticing the people that I'm trying to connect with, noticing the messages that are missed. And how do I just take it easy? And then today is the day to go to do this attunement. And I'll be leaving about 3 p.m. So right now it's around 8 a.m., let's say. I've got 4 hours plus 3 hours. I got 7 hours before I head out. So what I want to do with these 7 hours, the playlist is not completed yet. There's a number of songs I'm contemplating, but which songs I'm actually going to play. Where do I want to take people with that music? Where do I want to take people with my words? What feels the most impactful right now? Fire. Fire. I really enjoy fire. I really enjoy heat. Taking a nice hot bath this morning, not a bad idea. Crazy podcasts, crazy messages, crazy ideas, crazy gifts. I sent a crazy little video. I recorded a crazy little video on Christmas Day. Because I got my phone back before Boxing Day, the first one. So I was recording more videos then already. That was the inspiration once I got the new phone, is to record more videos. And I'm grateful for that. It's been really interesting recording over a video a day. And it's funny shifting the words from content creation to inspiration to magic mirror work. Really, we're just mirrors reflecting. Taking a look at the facial yoga, taking a look at so much self-judgment, so many self-stories, so many stories of, oh, you're getting older, oh, that year's gonna feel like it rushes, flies by, oh, 40s to 50s. And just hearing those things, and I'm really grateful, especially when I'm hearing it from my in-laws, that it's flowing off for the most part. And then right now I'm just practicing, noticing what other things to flow. One of the things that was said yesterday, I'm going to honor my beloved, instead of saying cutting cords, she's saying I want to dissolve cords, because cutting seems so harsh. And it's reminding me right now of the cutting of the umbilical cord during delivery in Western medicine, and how that doesn't have to happen, especially in that way, that you can actually leave that intact until the placenta is delivered. And what is the benefit of cutting it that quickly? Right? There's a feeling that that's the right thing to do now, and I don't know if it is. There's so many things that I thought were just the right thing to do, and now I'm just like, why is it? And is there more than one way to do things? I think that is the bigger question. Is there more than one way to do things? Yes. 100% there's more than one way to do things. That gets to the point of what is perfect. Like, when it really comes down to it, when we're not putting artificial constraints and artificial tests, an artificial way of calculating right versus wrong. And then noticing all the different rules that we have in place, and some of them can make sense for maintaining order, and then some of it is just ego upon ego upon ego, familiar patterns upon familiar patterns. Like the speeding laws, especially for highways, especially with our modern cars versus the older cars. And where is that line? Because there's a part of me that's like, yeah, with some of the older people driving the road, I can't even imagine them driving at more than what they're driving at. Having the possibility to not have to drive faster, right? Where are we trying to get to that's such a hurry? What's efficiency play in this, right? And then being honest, what is going on? Why is the limit there? Is it for efficiency? Is it for safety? Is it just because that's the pattern? And then just being honest that, why is this being the way it is? It just is. We're finding a way to create revenue. We're finding a way to create revenue. Speed plus a feeling of unsafety. Speed plus a feeling of something wrong. And I've been caught for speeding tickets. My beloved has been caught for speeding tickets. So many people I know have been. And for me, at one time, it actually did serve. I was upset. I was angry. I was rushing from one thing to another. I actually went to the court to say thank you, which is really funny. And I'm glad that I did. It was an experience for me. And then later on, when I was in Calgary, being like, that's a silly one. And then one for my birthday, it's like, fuck, I definitely did that one. I've been the aggressor in ways that I wouldn't have wanted. The aggressor in unwanted advances and having to be with that. The aggressor in the unwanted conversations, the aggressor in the out of integrity, out of alignment, I think. And just being with all that. Everything, and this is part of the DeMartini method, everything that has, quote unquote, felt like it's been done to me, I've done as well. And in every moment that something is being done to me, something else exactly the opposite happening in real time. And that was it yesterday. Like, and right now, being the rumination, getting the support from my beloved to work through this. And that's part of it, right? It's helping me to see. I've got someone on my team, and even then, and then the second piece is, notice, how is my mind trying to shape the story so that I become the hero, right? And what has it that I need to be the hero versus I just am? And then what has it that when others are trying to do that, I'm like, oh, just chill. They're not asking me to do. Or getting clear on that. Like, what is it that you want from me right now? Are you trying to get me to do? Because if you are, I'm going to ask you to chill. If I'm just a sounding board, I can practice being a sounding board. Nama, J2 Juicer. If you're thinking about a juicer, highly recommend it. I definitely can't imagine playing with a juicer the same ways I do right now with my little one. The excitement of it, the lack of the cleanup, the efficiency of it. Like yesterday, oh, that was so cool. I just threw in apples, washed whole, didn't even cut them. Boom, juice them down. I like that. That is pretty cool. Apples that don't need juicing, making fresh apple juice that way. Fresh apple juice. Mixing it with some filtered water probably. I'll have to check to see what kind of voltage, wattage it pulls out. And then we can do that. We can just watch it. Watch it do its thing. Do its thing. And that's life sometimes. How am I finding shortcuts? How am I finding cheat codes? How am I finding and loving shortcuts and cheat codes? Gratitude, gratitude. Attitude of gratitude. I've got an attitude of gratitude. Got an attitude of gratitude. Defined by so many things. I'm just imagining right now a podcast I want to have with my dear friend Liam. Such a lion of a man. He's going through some challenges. He's been through a lot of concussions. And just recognizing, because there's a part of me that when I first met him, definitely jealous of him. Young guy, strong, handsome, well-articulated, got a good relationship with his mother, going through the ceremonial work this young in his life in his early 20s, traveling the world, and then now meeting him having had multiple concussions and just seeing that he's having challenges in life, having challenges figuring himself out, and feeling for that and not sure what to do about that, how to support that, and then reminding myself that early morning light, maybe that's part of it too. Getting that early morning light and seeing if he's able to do that. Seeing the stories that come up for me, whether I look up to someone and say, oh man, I'm jealous of their life, or whether I'm looking down and going, oh man, I feel almost pity, or I wouldn't want that. Again, magic mirror work. I'm practicing being, I want to say it's honest and transparent. What it really is putting a loudspeaker on the voice in the back of my head. And instead of trying to pretend to be perfect all the time, just being me. It's interesting watching this political race in Canada right now and just watching the different kinds of almost attack stories. Oh my God, Carney plagiarized something when he was in university. I have no idea, but it's funny it comes out now, right? Are there probably parts that people could look back in my life and say, oh, he plagiarized this? Almost certainly. Copy paste? Almost certainly at some point I've copy pasted at least something, right? Was my research that I did the best? Heck no, the more I look at it, the more I learn from it. Everything is objectively biased. Biased just from the way I create it, look at it, design it. Definitely some was biased because I was like, I didn't really want to be here. I didn't really want to do this research. And so someone could look back going, this is crap. And I did learn about mitochondria, which I'm so happy about, muscle mitochondria. And I learned about DNA. I tried to stain things, but doing things over and over again, doing things with meticulous precision, that wasn't me. So that stuff, I can't even imagine and remember what crap upon crap upon crap is in there. Application forms, things like that. accentuating, embellishing, exaggerating. Yes, even now, even yesterday, I could notice myself deflecting, right? Like I'm saying things and afterwards like, did I really mean that? I said it though. Okay. And then every time especially when my beloved say, oh, what do they say? And I say something, I have to remind myself and sometimes remind them, it's like, that's not what they said. That's what I heard. And that's not even what I heard. That's what I've heard assimilated. Now I'm saying to you through all the filters that are there. There's so many filters still. And so if someone's recording something, and that's just it, this is me recording this, use that against me, right? I can't imagine how many people you could talk to who have interacted with me who might have something negative to say about me. Negative being it's not completely positive. And that's the thing I remind myself of. When someone doesn't give me anything other than unconditional love and support and acceptance for exactly who I am, sometimes that's enough for me to be like, oh my God, they hate me. And I'm practicing getting better at not trying to need to get that all the time, and to be me, and to be loving, and to be kind and compassionate. And I'm recognizing that there's a balance. There's a balance to abdicating responsibility, pretending everything's okay. I can see the sun out again, so I can get back out there in a second. And I'm weaving through this heat right now. Man, it'd be nice to have if I hotbox this, I would die. Forget that sometimes. I forget that sometimes. How do you have fire and have oxygen and not kill yourself by smoking yourself out, right? Having the wood stove inside of the sauna. Yeah, having someone else design these saunas for sure. Wood-fired saunas. Yeah. Silent investors. Important. Oh, that's nice. Some sunshine getting on the body. Sunshine getting on the body. The toes are cold. That's for sure. I'm thinking I got some Blundstones that totally were a dud. I think it might have been when I put on some snow tracks on them that really cut through the leather, but that's a poor excuse. Either way, they've got holes in them, and I don't have them right now. Loving life, loving life, loving life. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Pausing. Apprenticeship. Immersion. Working together. Letting go. Seeing the mess that is this balcony right now. Letting it go. More boxes to contain more things if you want. Letting it go. I can put the box in that corner, that's fine. Big open space here. Whatever patio furniture she wants to keep, happy to keep. Letting it go. Letting it go. Letting it go. I do not know what is the best course of action in life. I do not know what the right answer is. watching people drag boats back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I do not know how best to make money. I do not know, and I know. I know that life has a paradox in it. I know that I'm missing something. I know that I'm gaining something. Oh. Okay. Attunement, a multi-sensory experience. Multi-sensory experience. And what is the purpose of my breath in and of itself? For some, it will be release. For some, it's guiding yourself just to relax. For some of you, it'll just be to bring yourself present in this moment. It's bring everyone into the presence of the moment. After this, there'll be a sound bath. So notice if you're already trying to get there, but you are there, having gratitude for the sound bath. And after that, there's a live music event, a component. And imagine, and you're going to notice how different it is to experience this live music after having had the groundwork with Judy, after having had the breath work, after having had the sound bath. And wow, just noticing the different layers of sensation and allowing the layers of sensation to meld and to mold and to mix, allowing yourself to see sound, to taste sound, to touch sound. Allowing the thoughts to come and to go, noticing the stories that are coming up, noticing the parts that are being anything other than present if they're there, and just breathing. And there will be times that I'm talking to you, with you, by you, through you, planting seeds into your consciousness, not saying the truth. And that's a big part of it. You're a sovereign being. You get to decide, alchemize whatever you do. It's not trying to listen to me. Coming back to your breath, playing with that diaphragm. The diaphragm's that big muscle at the base of your rib cage that sucks downwards when you tighten it, breathing air in, creating that negative space in your lungs to allow the airflow to come in. And when you relax it, it just snaps back into place. It's like a rubber band. So your breath can be a little shorter. Take away that pause at the top and the bottom, allowing the breath to come in, to go out. Maybe try practicing that for a few breaths together. And now letting go of the synchronization, finding your own rate, finding your own rhythm. You're going to notice that this conscious connected breath, we're not trying to do it together. We're not trying to do it the same way. And that's actually on purpose. Find your own beat, realize your own sovereignness, and incorporate these tools, this guidance, this way of being into it. Step into the breath work. There's a work involved because you're shifting your central point. You're shifting yourself from a point of pH that is more alkalotic than before. The oxygen dissociation curve will shift. Your body's chemistry is changing, which is also changing your neurochemistry, which changes the way your brain thinks the body feels, which may give you some tightness, some tetany, some tingling in the hands and feet. All of this is perfectly normal and safe. The one place I will say is if you're actively pregnant or have severe heart or lung disease, keep breathing through your nose, be nice and gentle, listen to your body even more. This is a practice of listening to our bodies. Our bodies are talking to us, through us. Mind, body, soul. Let's connect those components of ourselves today. Feeling the yeses and feeling the nos. Feeling the nos. And so half an hour to guide them into breath, to guide them through the logistics of breath, the mechanics of breath, and to guide them into an experiential process of breath. It's one thing to talk, it's another to experience. And already they're going to be starting to experience. Okay, coming back into the shade and into the fire. I'm so grateful for my friends helping me to create this, and so grateful for the parts that are learning to work with others. It is so much easier to create my own events and have it all be the way that I think I want it. And eventually, for the most part, I will be doing some of those. I'll be doing some of those. It is not the most efficient use of time sometimes, though, because I tend to go a little long, but I get to weave it my way, and I get to be honored by being part of other people's containers. Like I was just thinking, it's like, yesterday I could imagine doing the sound bath breath under the giant pyramid of Burning Man. Like the moment I saw that, I thought I can do that. That's cool. And it's funny that I automatically thought that was possible. It wasn't a surprise to me. And now I'm just noticing where my story is. And this is cool. Like all these old structures are not just on the surface, right? There's method and meaning below the surface. Like looking at whether it's completely true or not, those giant pillars underneath the Giza pyramids. Man, there's so much more than we think. We're just seeing the tip of the iceberg, so to speak. And we've known that, but we've been unable to get off of the old patterns that people have built their careers on, right? You build your career on something. If I was still a medical doctor, it's because I built my career on it. I have to. And there have been so many belief changes. And again, it doesn't mean I'm right now. I'm not trying to build my career on that. Part of it for me is I'm not at this point aspiring to be like a Jack Kruse where he's so in detail about everything that he knows. There's a part that wants to create some training, some teachings, but it's like, how do I let it evolve and emerge naturally? And in the way where I'm doing it my way, where I'm not trying to just create more credentialing, more validation, more stories. And that's the piece for myself, is noticing when I'm just trying to create more stories too. I'm pulling the heat into myself through this fire and practicing moving the energy at the same time, not being still, noticing the back rounding, and is that serving myself? Noticing myself shaking a little bit. Rewilding myself, trusting the astrological omens without getting caught up in it. Like that's part of it. Like sometimes for myself, it's interacting, playing with the energies without saying the energies are the only thing. It's an excuse then, and that's part of it too. I can notice when I'm trying to make excuses, and that's what I was trying to do even with my rumination yesterday. It's like, how do I ruminate enough so I can get past the excuses to feel good versus just be with this? And then from this place of creation, create what's next. What wants to be created next? Okay, I'm going to create some space and time for more clearing of this body, this vessel. I am going to send a message to my dear friends to clear that up as much as I can. And then I am going to grateful. I'm bringing myself back from the forward motion to I'm grateful. And this is what I was reminding my dear friend Mike of yesterday. It's like, it's already happened. It's already been perfect. It is perfect. Everything that's happened is already perfect. And I'm reminding myself of that. Everything that's happened is already perfect. So if it is already perfect, then it is always perfect moving forward in the future. If I can just take my locus to forward future. And then it doesn't mean do no action, but how do I own my impacts? How do I have consideration? Does it need to be said? Does it need to be said by me right now? And thanking the teachers, thanking Judy for being the teachers of some of this work as well. Thanking my other teachers, thanking Yvonne, thanking Lana, thanking Sarah, thanking Trina, thanking Mr. Bewley, thanking Ellen, thanking Pick and Flick, thanking Susan, thanking Professor Love, thanking Professor Zink, thanking friends like Shannon, and there's a Courtney Unizinger and Alex and Greg, thanking Megan, thanking all the Mikes. I was thinking there's so many Mikes in my life, so many Ivans, so many Davids, so many Matthews. There's so many names that keep repeating themselves. It's almost like every time they show up, oh, can you notice this name showed up again? Thanking my dear friend Mike, who had that crazy accident with his Tesla, and killed with his two young sons in the back, who I've actually met before a few times, and then his wife essentially, I think, committed suicide because it was just she couldn't bear to live. And I can't imagine. I thought of reaching out to her because I thought of Mike coming back as like a little gecko or a lizard coming into my consciousness field. I don't know if that was with medicine or that was just breathing. I think it was just breathing. And then wanting to reach out to her but never having reached out to her. Remembering the times I was in the car with Mike. Mike was 10 years older than me at the time. I was 26, so he was 36. And he was, at that point in time, attracted to my dear friend Janice and wanting to date her and just noticing him. Like, he was such a kind person. And there was more to him than just the kindness. Like, there's a piece of him that had a chip on his shoulder too, and being able to see that. And there's a piece of him that was feeling like behind in life and seeing that. And then my friend Evo, so grateful for him. Just take a look. Something smells like it's burning a little bit. So grateful for him. He was trying to help me out with my research, trying to help guide me. He was such a nice man, such a hard worker. He just knew himself. And I remember when we went out looking for him in the snowbanks because he was supposed to be somewhere and he didn't arrive in time. And then when he finally showed up, he's like, I don't know what you guys are worried about. It was my friend Janice. And Kim was like, I'm just gonna sit here. I'm good. And I recognized I was caught up in someone else's stuff. I wasn't worried about him either, but I was willing to. There's a part of me that probably had a little bit of a crush on Janice as well at that point in time. And not right or wrong, could see things that she was in her own blind spots, right? And it's such an interesting question to ask, what are my blind spots? Oh. Thank you for all this heat energy. Thank you for this fire. God, I really enjoy fire. That's part of the reason why I was going down to that amenities room, because like, love this fire. Let's do the work down here with the fire. And now I'm like, love this fire. Love being on the rooftop balcony. Man, this is nice. Okay. Back in the sunshine again. Once more into the breach. So the things that I haven't created, the things I'm not as excited to create, things like even creating the new Calendly link for my breath sessions. How do I be super clear, super direct with that? And then how do I just create it myself? I have the capacity to do this stuff. This is not rocket science. Fuck. Apologizing first into the cosmos first. And the apologies, noticing, and again from Dr. Demartini, it's like, thank you for giving me this opportunity. There's nothing to apologize for. Everything is perfect. And I'm at a hybrid point right now. If I could truly own that, like truly own that, no apologies needed. I don't imagine I'm there yet. I don't feel like I'm there yet. And more of these ideas, just like the idea that comedy is born out of tragedy. And then having my dear friend Yumi say, not all of it is. And right now I don't feel like I'm there. I'm like, thank you for saying that. I look forward to hearing your insights. And then hearing from my other friend where she's telling me, acting is just channeling. It's not putting a mask on. It must be tiring putting a mask on. It's just channeling. And I'm like, thank you for reminding me that it's finding that place so that you can actually channel it through. Like really embodying that way of being, embodying that persona, embodying that consciousness that wants to come through. And that's part of it when I'm watching a really good drama or a fantasy. What's the fantasy that I was watching? And even the Marvel universes, like, man, really embodying those larger than life magical properties. I want to watch Doctor Strange again. I can feel that. I'm like, oh, I want to watch Doctor Strange 2, and just watch these things again and see what's there. And probably put things on our own big screen again. Oh. Just making random noises at times can really serve to open up different portals and activation and light language. And I'm just ruminating. It's funny, like I every now and then come back to, it's like, oh, why is Disney requiring me to all be under one household? Why are all these services getting in the way of just being? And then noticing the convenience of it and the inconvenience of it, and what has it that everyone is trying to get theirs, and then noticing for myself, how am I trying to get mine? And then how to run these business models, how to run business, and I'm confused, and this is hard, and I just want to give up, and it keeps going and going and going and spiraling and spiraling and spiraling. So we're going to finish this up soon. So I'm going to send a message out soon. So I am going to be after that. I'm going to be after that. I'm going to be after that. Thank you. 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 Such gratitude. Such gratitude. Such gratitude. There is such immense gratitude for this life, for this way of being, for this way of breathing. For this technology. Thank you, thank you, thank you, fire. You've transmuted so much. I'm going to turn you off in a moment and just feel your residual heat. Just going to feel the residual heat and pull it in, and then see if I want to cover this before I go. Give it a few minutes just to see if that's enough time for it to cool down. And I actually don't think it is, because I'm remembering that day at the beach, and they turned it off. And even on a cold day like that, he covered up fairly soon, but then putting the cart and all that stuff, that heat just resonating off of it started melting things. And for me, do I really want to be out here until this cools down into nothingness? No, just take as much of the heat as I can, as I want. Get right in there. Oh, you can see that fire now. Get right in there, pulling it into the body, spending a little bit more time out in the sun, and then bring ourselves downstairs. Okay, 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 okay. Ooh. Sometimes it's hard making all these choices, and these are the easiest fucking choices there are. So right now and today, I'm just noticing when I say something and noticing the bullshit of what I'm saying as well. And then loving the bullshit of what I'm saying, because there's a part of me that's like, oh my God, I'm full of shit. Yes and no. I've always been full of shit. Thank you. I'm a shit disturber as well. Thank you. Especially with the enemas, right? Total shit disturber. Thank you. And sometimes the person I'd least like to see is myself and my directness now. Thank you. And like I've said before, like I want to be led by someone like me for breath, for medicine. Thank you. Oh wow, there's some tiles there that have perfect water on them and a perfect reflection. It's pretty cool looking. And just noticing these things and noticing myself wanting to compose pictures again. Thank you. Also, the biggest thing in my life is I want to have an editor. I don't want to edit all of this stuff. Thank you for noticing that. And I ordered a ridiculously expensive camera. And at some point in my life, I'm going to have a camera like that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, 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 1,000 times thank you. 1,000 times thank you. Thank you, 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 thank you. 1,000 times thank you. And it's not about impacting others with my own crazy decisions. Sometimes I feel like I need to tell people things, and do I need to? I'm trying to think of how that's going to happen. One of the things is that I had a message that I thought I received during a previous breath. I was like, I need to get my dad this really expensive camera and say, hey, you can just carry this around instead. It's smaller. It's that Fuji GFX 100 RF, I think. And so during it, I was like, I need to order this. And there's a glitch in ordering it. And yet I still went back and I did it. And even RBC called me. He's like, is this fraud? And I said, no, and all this stuff. I'm like, all right. And then my brain tried to rationalize going, well, I could sell it then. It's like, no, do I really want to do that? I should tell my dad. I don't know if I want to do that. I really should tell my beloved. Oh, I'm scared to do that. Okay, I've created a dilemma for myself. I've created more chaos. It's not serving me. How do I want to close this loop? How do I want to close this loop now? What is the lesson? What is the takeaway? Don't mess with Maui when he's on a breakaway. Okay. And then it's like, when is the right time to talk about it that's not going to cause and trigger more stuff? Trigger more shit. Break shit down, break shit up, break it up, break up these old patterns, break up these old bones. It's not right, it's not wrong. I've got all these ideas. Not right, not wrong. All these ideas. And I keep screwing up life. Notice I'm saying that out loud. I keep screwing up life. And there's a part of my own belief structure that I'm screwing up life. I'm screwing up like I'm a screw up. I've screwed up so many connections, screwed up so many relationships, screwed up so many partnerships, screwed up so many businesses, screwed up so much with money, lost so much, spent so much, gambled so much. There's a part of that, I can hear that in not my dad, probably my grandfather more so. I don't think my dad thinks he's screwed up as much. And part of that's his drive to keep going, because then he's running ahead of the potential screw-ups. My grandfather, I'm not sure he was able to run ahead of that. Some of my uncles, definitely not. And the stories that they weave. Like my uncle, who's so smart, has so many gifts and talents, and has antagonized so many people. And I think that's okay. And I judge. There's a big part of me that judges, that's for sure. And then that judgment to myself. Whew. Notice those stories. I'm a screw up, like that judgment in itself. In those moments, I forget all the people that would be like, hey, Nick, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then all those people that, even if they judge me, I say thank you. And all the people that even I judge, I say thank you to. Thank you, Lee, for being upset with me way back when. There are things that we weren't doing properly, right? You saw that. But it didn't mean that we were doing things badly either. It reminded me how important it is that someone actually wants to be there, that wants to receive, that wants to be with the medicine that we're delivering. And if someone believes in it, that's okay. I'm sad and I am happy. There's a part of me that's like, I missed so many opportunities. I could have done so many different things. There's so many people have worked with senators and all this stuff. I'm like, I haven't done that. And then let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Notice the holding on. Smile with the holding on. Hold on so tightly, so fiercely. Ah! If only I had these opportunities, what would my life be like now? Ah! But then I've had so many opportunities in my life, other people haven't. Ah! Ah! And what life do I really want to live? Ah! Ah! What life do I really want to live? Ah! Ah! What life do I really want to live? What life do I really want to live? Whose life? Sometimes, yeah, I want to embody someone else's life. And I can do the DeMartini method. I can look at all the people I look up to. Papa Jack right now, Papa John, and Papa Jerry. All right, cool. So looking up at them right now, awesome. And then just looking at the traits and qualities they embody, awesome. How to be that person, awesome. How to have that team, awesome. And then let it go. And then run with it, and run with it, and run with it, and run with it, awesome. And I'm thinking, how do I monetize this? How do I get the flow? How do I get the flow of this business going? How do I have the certainty for this retreat? And part of it I can see, part of the beauty of it is if no one else is trying to make life easier, if there's a little bit of, even a little bit of pushback, it's helping to refine me right now versus making things so easy. I think I'm like the world's best CEO right away. It's like, no, I'm definitely not the world's best CEO. Definitely not even close to the top 1,000. And I'm learning so quickly. Every day, 1%. I've got that 1% diary I'm not using right now. I've got so many tools. I'm not using them all right now. And then every time I see another tool, I want to pick it up as opposed to, okay, what are the tools I already know to have? An hour out here in the sunlight, juicing, enemas, affirmations. Today's going to be Wunderbar Day. Actually being in some action, actually cleaning up my life, actually owning things, actually owning that everything is perfect just the way it is. And what is it that's unfolding right now? And I chose to be here, exactly here in this moment, exactly right now, to have these understandings, these realizations, and to keep coming back to this realization because I'm forgetting and I'm coming back to it. And I'm ingraining this in myself. I'm entraining this in myself right now because there is a much more profound journey moving forward. And stepping into that roles, and I've watched people, I've watched Blue burnout, I've watched other people in high profile roles have to take a step back and noticing and not saying that I'm doing this now, doing it so well that I never have to take a step back, but this is my step back right now. This is my step back. And if this is my step back, it's a pretty fun step back, right? It's reminding me it doesn't take much to take a step back. And part of it is it's not that it's not overcommitting. Right now I haven't had to commit to too much, and even the commitments I have feel a little overwhelming at times. Oh man, how am I going to do this retreat? How am I going to do it? How am I going to justify it? How am I going to justify my life? Who is so committed that they want to do this with us? What is the timeline? All right, let's be clearer and clearer on the timeline. Timeline for this retreat, this X-Camp retreat. Right now it's sign-up time. It's March, April, May. That's sign-ups. June, July, that's the time for having your opening sessions. August, that's the time for our call and our breath session. September, we're coming out now. This is the real deal. And if you're from out of town and you don't have amazing body work, we'll get you a body work when it happens when you're in town. Come a little early. Session itself, we're going to have myself, Marika, Brent, and ideally Joni and Matt as well. 1 week magic, 2 ceremonies. Integration the week after. And then bi-weekly calls with Marika and her team for coaching to bring this into the 3D world over the next 4 months. And every month, every 2 months, we'll be having a call. A little connection call, a little reminder call, a little touch base call. And being super clear on what wants to be shared, what wants to be asked, what wants to be said. And then one final call. And then we can decide to do something more. Like this is kind of like my version of apprenticeship as I realize this now. It's the follow-up, it's the project. And then the work right now is to describe it for you. What's a project that you want to bring into life? What is the thing? What is the aliveness you want to take place? It's more than an intent. It's actually guiding and creating a life path, creating a set of tracks. That's slightly different. That's profoundly different. What is the profound change that you're willing to commit yourself to? And it doesn't mean that you can't do anything else during this time, and this will be the most important training you do during this time. I have a number of coaches, I have a number of things going on, but what is the most profound training right now? Right now, for me, in a way, it's this magic mirror work. Doing this for 5 months, hour and 40 minutes today, like I'm really dedicating some time to going through my own madness. Jumping in and out of hoops. Jumping in and out of stories, out of timelines. And I'm doing it in a way that really serves. I'm doing it with the morning sun. Loving this morning sun. Loving it. And recognizing how healing this can be. Morning sun. Morning sun. Morning sun. An hour and 40 minutes out here on the patio. Letting all the photoreceptors suck it in. Suck it in. We'll be getting out in the sun again later because it's such a beautiful day. And then we'll be driving downtown later, and it's such a beautiful day. So much gratitude. So much gratitude. So much gratitude. So much gratitude. Thank you for the nervousness amongst all the gratitude. Ciao for now. Ciao for now. Train's coming through. Ciao for now.